don't care what the earth is saying, as long as I know who the earth belongs to. The earth is the Lord's. And what happened if you sit around and began to listen to the rhetoric, you will see you will see more hustling in 209 than you ever seen. Because folks don't believe that God can do it. This is why David, who was very much a man after God's own heart, he said, "Fret not thyself because of evil doers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity." See, you're going to see folks seem like they're hustling and getting over. No, they're not. God said, don't even get hung up on that. Don't even get hung up on that, because even now you're going to hear rappers and all kind of folk talk about this, that, and the other, and so forth. I'm going to remind young people that you read Ephesians 6. Start at verse 1 now. But not only talking about respect your parents, but also remember your only true father, where is he? He in heaven. So when you disrespect your parents, that's the same as disrespecting him. And then when you don't do that, God told you, trust in the Lord and do good. When you do good, that don't mean you got to respect everything that they tell you that's wrong. He said, respect your parents what? In the Lord. Then it may be well with thee, and thou may live long on the earth. Anybody read in the Bible? Yeah. Now you got to understand, second verse, for they soon shall be cut down like grass, and wither as the green herb. Notice what he said. Now I ain't talking to them. What's the next one? He says what? Trust in my God? Nope. Trust in the Lord, and what else? And what? There's a conjunction there. And do good. Which means I have no business hustling. I have no business trying to use my femininity to get what I want, nor my masculinity. I'm going to trust in God. Because when that's gone, you ain't got nothing. But if you let the world pervert you and get you all off into craves and stuff, you're not going to do good. And if you don't do good, God said, I'm sorry, I can't condone what you're doing. I love you. I may not love what you're doing, but I'm not going to co-sign some stuff that don't work. So don't ask me to begin to go along with your nonsense. I'm going to just tell you what, look what everybody wants to meet their goals and all that good stuff. It said, trust in the Lord, do good, so shall thou dwell in the land, and verily, surely, what did it say? Thou shalt be fed. Not going to want for no grub. God's going to take care of his own. Just like all of us, as feeble as we are, we try to take care of our own. My babies, I don't care if they get 50 years old, they're still mine. If they call Dad and Daddy got a little strength in his body, he's gone. So how much more do you think your Father in heaven would do? Much more. And see, if you want to meet a goal, or you want something that you want, or you want to start something, it is so easy a child can understand. Delight thyself also, another conjunction, in Yahweh the Lord, and he shall give thee what? Of thine heart. This is your heart. Every one of y'all got some junk up there just like I do. You talking about what you want to do, who you upset with, throw all that stuff in the river and let the fish eat it. Trust in God. You're not going to do anything, because God says if you acknowledge me in all your ways, he will give you. Now let's go Deuteronomy 26. I want y'all to read that whole chapter. It's about tithes and a whole lot of stuff, but I'm only going to attack the 11th verse, if you don't mind. It says now, and thou shalt rejoice. Now wait a minute. Some of us get a good thing and don't even know how to thank God for it. Matter of fact, read, is it Galatians or Colossians 4? I think it is. About thanking God for something. We are so narrow on certain things. God got some of you doing all right now, and you don't thank him for it. God said it's time Because when you start fretting about what the evil in the world, the etymology of that, you put a hole in your soul.
No, sir.
You didn't hear what I said, what the
No,
Spirit.
sir.
In other words, anytime you take it, I can show you other scriptures, but I don't want, it's about bald spots on the back of your head. It's a hole. Something happened on the inside. You cause it to go inward. And it begins to affect your spirit, man, because you're lusting after the things of the world instead of what? Trusting in your Father. Too many of us do that. You already got to figure out what you're going to do. And the Lord said we ought to ask him if we should do this or that. Anybody read in the Bible? Look what it says in Deuteronomy 26 and 11. And thou shalt rejoice in every good thing which the Lord thy God hath given unto thee and unto thine house, thou and the Levites and the strangers and that is among you. Whatever anyone receives, it doesn't come from the factory. It doesn't come from the job. It comes from your Father in heaven. And when you are not thankful, he doesn't come through. Not that he doesn't want to. He can. Hey, what do you give your child who's ungrateful anything? I think not. Let mine tell me what I better do. I say, okay. And that's what we do sometimes. We're not even. We should rejoice in every good thing. Leave this dumb stuff alone. If you got clothes on your back right now, you ought to be rejoicing.
Amen.
If you can go home and your light and gas is on, what you ought to be doing? You ought to be rejoicing about. But no. And then let's go back to, I'm about through, 37 and 5. What does it tell us to do? I can't make you do this in 209, 208, or 2 whatever it is. You have to do, it says commit. Y'all understand the significance of that word? Commit thy way, not way, thy way, the singleness of mind unto the Lord, not to any church, anybody. He has to be first. He said, commit thy ways unto the Lord. Now, if you've done that, you shouldn't have any problem. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Whatever your goals, if you haven't committed to God, I don't care what you try to do.
No matter what it is.
See, Isaiah 53, I think that very first verse, he says, who, anybody ready, will relieve our report. What is the report? This love letter I wrote to you. I don't care what any man who's philosophically, whatever he can come up with, if it don't line up with this, not going to happen. How do I know? Because I tried.
Well,
I told God, I ain't going to be no preacher. I'm going to run. He said, okay, go ahead and run. You can't outrun me. You're going to preach because that's what I called you to do. So you got to acknowledge him. You got to commit to whatever you're doing. Even if you're doing wrong, if you don't commit to it, you're not going to get away. You ain't going to do nothing. You have to make a commitment. But now, we too busy committing our way to a man, woman, boy, or girl instead of committing to God. My job is not my commitment. My commitment is to God, because if I do right by God, God will make sure they'll do right by me. All right, anybody heard that? He said, I'm just telling you, just common sense stuff. And he shall bring forth. Now notice what he says. The 6th verse. Now who's going to do this? Is it something you have the power to do? No. No. Have you ever not read Psalm 51? David said you were shapen in iniquity. The etymology, you was born to. Don't nobody have to teach no baby nothing how to sin. They come here knowing how to do it. And the only reason a baby don't commit murder is just too weak. Y'all seen them throw them tantrums. I mean, you seen them in the watch come. Them boys big enough to do something. They'd hurt somebody. Oh, I've seen them. Fall out on the floor. I said, boy, you better be glad I ain't your daddy. That'll be the last time you do that. Boy, I'd fire you up so you ain't gonna never do that no more. Not in no public anyway. And that you put that rump, see, that's what you're supposed to do. But see, we done got sophisticated now. We listen to everybody but God. Yeah. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness, what? As the light. Now that's very important, church. Any of y'all read the most intense teaching of Jesus starts in Matthew 5.
Yes, it does.
He tells you, what does he tell you that? You are the light of the world. How you going to light up anything if you're not committed to him?